Hey guys, how's it going? It's Music City Foodie here. So, in case you've never seen me or been on YouTube, well, you've probably been on YouTube, but in case you've never seen me, I'm a chef of 30 years and I have a YouTube channel now where I do recipes. Now, the reason why I started this is because I wanted something to do, I wanted to have some fun. So, I figured, hey, why not? It wouldn't hurt to start something like this and give you guys some really, really good recipes. Now, one of the things I found out about, and I'm kind of actually surprised, is that I've tried some of these YouTube recipes and they were disastrous. Now, not all of them have been disastrous, but a big percentage of them. When you watch stuff and you see it, you really don't know what it tastes like until after you've tried it. But after you've tried it, you've already put your money into it, and if it isn't good, then you've lost your money. So what I figured I'd do is I just kind of hang out and give you guys an insight of some recipes that really work well. If you go in there and you'll see that I have a spinach recipe, takes you about 8 minutes to make. This is a recipe that my family's been making for years. I got it handed down to me, and now I'm making it. I've tweaked it some and made it better than what it was because some of them were real basic and plain. I want a lot of flavor with that. We're going to flavor with this. There's also a salsa recipe, which is a fresh salsa recipe that you guys can also look at. And that takes no time at all. And it's phenomenal. So, what I do is I get on here, I test some stuff out. I do get some people who have subscribed to the channel asking me to do certain recipes. Um, some of the stuff, it's very simple and easy. I try to make it to where you could cook for 2 to 4 people, depending on the size of the dish and what products I'm using. Um, I'm telling you, it's really cool when you do this stuff because I get to one enjoy what I do. I've been doing it for 30 years. So I can kind of hand it down to you guys and say, here, here's a recipe I know will work. I've made it a million times, if not in a restaurant, at home, and it's a fail safe plan for a recipe. Um, hey, we all got to start somewhere. We all got to go and get recipes done. The holidays are coming up, so we got a lot of stuff. Some of the videos that we're going to be doing are going to be changing also. It's amazing on what's going on right now. So, hey, you guys got any questions? Please ask down below. I'll see if I can't answer them here. You got any cooking questions? You need any insight into restaurant? You're thinking about opening up a restaurant. You want to do something like that. I do a lot of stuff, man, from traveling to food blogging. I am a food blogger. I do that here in Nashville, Tennessee. Um, I write about local restaurants. I try to stay away from the corporate side of things. I just feel like corporate's, overdone. They always get all the advertising. The mom and pop shops are the little guys who are struggling to make it by, you know? So maybe in an instance, we'll be able to get it going. So what I was thinking is I'd come on and do a live thing and see if I can get somebody in here who wants to ask me a question. And if they do, hey, more power to you. So if you got any questions about anything, or you want to learn something, or you need to know something about cooking in general, I also test equipment. So if you go to my page, you'll see that I do equipment also. So you get to see the equipment I test. Now, when I test this equipment, and they don't pay me for this, I do this all on my own, just so we get that clear. I am not getting paid for any of this. I do this all on my own. YouTube's not paying me anything. I don't get paid anything for the products that I test out. I don't get paid anything from anybody in general. So, but I just thought it'd be nice to finally get on YouTube and be able to show people that the dishes that I present them are the real dishes that they are making. And if as long as you stick to the recipe that I have given you, the recipe will turn out perfect. I've been on here and I've had tried some recipes that were disastrous and thought, how in the world can they do this? Because you're always looking for something different. You're always looking for a different recipe. You get tired of eating the same food all the time. I mean, I get tired of eating the same food all the time. There's only so many times that you can eat something and it just gets old. So you kind of want to do. So I've been doing a lot of research into a lot of Indian cuisine, a lot of Asian cuisine. Um, I never got into too much of that. I did my internship in New Orleans, so I got into a lot of the Cajun and the Creole aspect and the French aspect of it. And don't get me wrong, I love Cajun and Creole food, but I can't eat it every day. I went through as much as trying to find the perfect burger, and I figured out how to make the perfect burger, which I need to do. I need to do a video on that, and hopefully, some people will test it out. But I'll give you a little insight into some stuff. Is that I don't know what you have around you as far as business wise, grocery stores, and that, but never, ever, ever buy anything out of the case. In a sense, ground beef, ground sirloin, ground chuck. Don't ever buy that out of the case that's down below. I'm going to tell you three reasons why. First reason is it's not what you think it is. No, it's not. And it's unfortunate I have to tell you that, but it's not. Two, the price for it's crazy. I mean, as much as you pay at the grocery store for the food, I mean, you want to be, what am I looking for? You want to know what you're putting into your body, and you want to understand what you're putting into your body is a good quality. You don't want to be putting in junk. I'm going to give you a little insight and a little tip that a lot of people don't know is that being a butcher is phenomenal. It's a pastime thing that is slowly going away. Everything's going to prepackaged. But I'll tell you, if you got a local butcher around you, please support them because they do a lot and they'll be very honest with you. Major chains and grocery stores, a lot of the ground beef that you buy out of the case does not come in that way. What they do is they take all the scraps and end cuts and they grind that up and they make your ground beef from that. Now, what I want you to do is if you want to test the theory, and so you'll believe what I'm telling you, is next time you're at the grocery store, buy yourself a pound of ground beef. Okay. I want you to turn your faucet on to hot water. And I want you to take a pinch, just a pinch of this, and I want you to hold it in your hand, right, and cup it. And I want you to run that hot water. Now you want to leave your hand open here a little bit so the water can get in there. And I want you to wash your hand with that hot water. Now, what that hot water is going to do is it's going to melt that fat that is in the product. Now, after a little while, you're going to say, all right, it doesn't feel like I'm holding anything. And then you'll open up your hand and you'll see there's only a tiny bit there. That's all the product. Everything else was fat. So, tip from me to you is go next time you're in a grocery store and you see the butcher back there, walk up and you can buy a sirloin, right? And you can say, hey, do you think you could take this sirloin and you could grind it up for me? Or I always buy, I'll be honest with you, and this is one of my rules of thumb to do, is I always buy a chuck roast when I make burgers. I'll buy chuck and I'll have the butcher grind it up. I try to find a chuck roast that has some fat on it, no bone. You want no bone in it because you're paying for the price of the bone. You don't want the bone. So get a chuck roast, boneless, get it with some fat on it. Tell them send it through the grinder 2 times. You want to run through that grinder 2 times. And he'll do it for you, especially if you have a Publix, or I don't know about some of the Walmart superstores if they have that in the back. I think most of their stuff comes in pre-processed and biocrack, biopack, and So I don't know if I'd really go towards that as much. Another thing I would look out to do is seafood. When you're at a grocery store and you're buying seafood and you walk up to that seafood case, I want you to realize, read the very small print because 90% of the stuff that you're buying out of the case is previously frozen product that they have in their coolers. They pull it out, they set it on the counter, they thaw it out, they put it in a display case, and they sell it to you, which is all fine and good. But I think if I'm going to buy the frozen product, or if they got a seafood center supposed to be fresh seafood, fresh fresh is not always what you think it is, and that's another thing I want you to realize too. Um, when they say fresh, is it freshly frozen? Now that's a key item right there. Freshly frozen. That means when they get it, they catch it, they immediately freeze it right away. They got some manufacturing boats that they go up to. They'll put it on that boat, or the fishermen will grab it. They'll take it to them. It's 3 hours. The processors got it, and they're freezing it fresh. That's most of the time what you're getting, a product that's frozen fresh. Now, some of the fish you get. Now, I will state some of the fish in some grocery stores is fresh. Sometimes they have it flown in, sometimes it comes in on the thing. But the first thing you want to look at is you want to look at the eyes on the fish. If the fish is whole, you want to look at the eyes of the fish. You want to make sure that they're nice and clear. The clearer the eyes, the fresher the fish. Any fisherman will tell you this, and any fishmonger should notify you about that. Now, when you're buying fillets, like we'll say cod fillets or tuna or cod, whatever. When you're buying a fillet and that butcher, you're in there wanting to pick out what you want. Ask that butcher to smell the fillet because you want to make sure that you're getting a good product. You want to make sure the fillet that you're paying for what you deserve, fresh. Now, some of those fillets that you're buying, the tilapia fillets and all that, they're not coming in fresh. They're coming in freshly frozen. It means it goes through the processing plant, goes through a deep freeze. They send it out to them. They thaw it out. They put it in the case again, and they sell it to you as a fresh product because it was freshly frozen. It's not always the case. So another thing is too, another little tip. If you ever have gone to the grocery store and bought shrimp, and I'm talking, fresh frozen shrimp that kind of has a really strong mineral or iodine taste to it. There is a few steps of stuff you can do. One, you can add a little bit of baking soda and some salt to it and let it soak with the shrimp and water for, I'd say, probably about 30 minutes. Sometimes that does work and that pulls out that benadine kind of flavor. It's really weird. It's one of the things I don't like about shrimp. So I am very cautious about where I buy, what region it comes from when you're doing shrimp, especially in fine dining restaurants. Um, you want that sweet taste of the shrimp. You don't want an iodine strong taste shrimp. Now, if you get an iodine shrimp and it's really strong, then it's not the best shrimp that you got. Now, to look for good shrimp and bad shrimp, well, that's an easy thing to see. Whenever you're going in, you're going to buy some freshly frozen shrimp. The first thing I want you to look at is the shell itself on the shrimp, what's in the bag. Most of the time when you can buy it, it's a clear plastic bag. It's got a labeling in the front and you can see it. What you want to do is you want to look into that. You want to see. Now, if you see some really dark lines on the shell, stay away from that shrimp because that shrimp wasn't processed in time and it's already started to go bad. Most people don't know this. Now, there are shrimp called tiger shrimp that have black lines on them. Don't get the two mistaken between thinking it's a bad shrimp. Remember, tiger shrimp are made that way. But if you see stuff on there like a pink shrimp or a white shrimp, you will see some black lines on it. That means that the shrimp isn't as fresh as you thought it was. Some other tip that you can look out for. These are the things in restaurant businesses that I look for before I buy my product. I make sure all my purveyors know and everything that this is what I look for. Now, when I go to the grocery store, I am always checking dates. Make sure to check your dates on everything you buy. Now, let's get into talking about some seasonings, like buying your oregano, your dried oregano, your garlic, your onion powder, your paprika, your thyme, all that stuff. Unless you're cooking for a large family, I suggest buying, and I'm not getting paid for this, but I would suggest buying the small McCormick's. They're about this big, they're little, they're about that big around. I would get small ones because in 6 months they're not they're not good anymore. You've lost all the flavoring and everything that's in it. Personally, if you ask me, I would tell you to use fresh. Fresh herbs are the best thing and give the best flavor to any food that you're using them with versus the dried. But sometimes you can't get that, so you have to go the dried route. So now there's other things you can do. Normally, what I will do when I'm doing a dry herb is I will take that dry herb and I will take a little bit of butter in a saute pan and I will actually heat that herb up just to get it to release some of that flavor so that flavor goes in there. You know, a lot of spices you can toast. You can toast the spice beforehand, which really enriches the flavor immediately, and then you can add that to whatever you're cooking. So that's something else that you guys can look at. Um, but yeah, when it comes to looking at chicken and meat and that, looking at chicken, it's amazing because in the restaurant business, it's, you're not buying a 4 pack of chicken breast, you're buying a case. So you have to be careful. You have to go through, you have to open. I actually, at the point where now I can open up a case of chicken and I can lay the plastic bag out, the cryovac bag that it comes in, and I can tell you if the chicken's any good or not. I can tell you about pretty much the age of the chicken, uh, almost to the processing time of the chicken, because you know sometimes you go to the grocery store and you buy these gigantic chicken breasts. And although some of the bigger chicken breasts that I have been really really good, and some have been a little tough. Now you're talking about age. With age, you'll get some toughness out of that. A younger chicken, you'll get a lot more tenderness. Now let's talk about what they do at the farm for the process for the chicken. For one, boy, I'll tell you, I got to see this firsthand, which was kind of shocking to my system and shocking to me, is seeing them take a chicken, dip it in boiling water, pluck that chicken, and we're talking about free range chickens here. We're not talking about, this huge, gigantic barn with 50,000 chickens in it. You're talking free range chickens. I watched them do this. And I'll tell you what, if I had my choice between free range and commercialized, I would go with the free range. And there's three good reasons why. One, a commercial product is a commercial product. It is pushed through, it is altered in some states or another. Some places will put salt water and they'll actually inject the chicken breast with salt water and flavoring, right? Why would you want something injected in the chicken breast? You should be able to eat that from the bird itself and have the flavor. Some places do it. So remember, read that package of the small print on there because you'd be really surprised about what they do. All right, now back to the chicken episode. Now I watched them do this, and you know what? I'm gonna find somebody. I'd like to go find somebody who does this and go there and video it so you guys can see for yourself. Not the part about killing the chicken, but the part about what it takes to get the chicken ready so you can cook it. Now, it's really weird because I took a commercial chicken and I took a chicken that I bought that was free range. Okay. One, the skins are completely different. On the commercial chicken, the skin is bleach white. Well, not bleach white, but it's white in a sense. The free range is yellow tinted. All right. That's a good thing. All right. That means that chicken's got some flavor and it's going to taste real good. Now, the chicken breast. Another thing is, if you ever cook the chicken breast, you ever notice how you go to the restaurants and you just assume the chicken is white inside, the meat is white. They say, would you like white meat or dark meat on the chicken? That would be the thigh or the leg, or you could have the breast, right? Fine. What people don't realize is chicken meat shouldn't be white. It should be tinted yellow. All right. And if you've ever had a free range chicken, you'll know that the flavor is totally different. It's got more of a chicken flavor to it. It tastes better. It's the breast itself is flaky and easy to pull apart, and you should really never have to take a knife to a chicken breast. You should be able to cut it with a fork. Now, granted, corporate buys chicken, and I understand you can't have a farm with just a bunch of free range chickens running all over the place. But if you're eating at home, you might as well buy what's worth buying. Now, I'm going to test in the next couple of months some different companies of their chicken, and I'm going to find out, where you can get them locally, what their processes are, and this way you can try the difference. And what I'd like you to do is, as a little test to yourself, is buy a free range chicken, all right, a whole chicken, and then buy a whole chicken that's just a corporate basic chicken. And I want you to cook those two off. Do the exact same process to both of them, and you tell me which one tastes better. That's another key. So I've been on here about 22 minutes now. So I figured I'd do about a 30-minute live spiel. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you guys how to save money in your kitchen. I'm buying food and making healthy meals and eating well. You can eat really well. I mean, you can eat like a king if you didn't have to pay half the cost that you have to pay right now to the grocery stores to do all the work for you. And they're not even doing the work anymore. 90% of them are buying them prepackaged. The factory's doing them there. They get to you, and it's crazy. Now, the final subject that I want to get on is our food source and where it's coming from. I am, as a chef, very concerned about the processors of our nation's food with all of these recalls. It absolutely blows my mind. There are so many recalls every week, and I'm going to get a hold of a couple sites that you guys can go and look at before you go grocery shopping, which I do, to stop you from looking at all this stuff or to stop you from buying this stuff. In this way, you get to know not to get the chicken if it's got E. coli or the vegetables that got salmonella. And I mean, really, why? Have we become that lazy that we can't even, the processed food that we get now, we can't even take care or keep clean of that? Not to get into politics, but they're spending all this time worrying about the president and the impeachment and all this other things not doing their job set at hand now. What have they done? Nothing. Why are all these products coming out? We pay our taxes, correct? We shouldn't have these problems with our food source. It's kind of funny that Europe refuses to buy any eggs from America on the simple fact of the processes that we put our chickens through for our eggs. There's other things that Europe won't buy from us because of the processes that we put it through. It is absolutely crazy all the stuff that other countries won't buy products from us for is because of how we process it. What does that tell you? That worries me a little. Being a chef for 30 years, I'm a little worried. And I have seen the food quality go down tremendously. I've seen the food quality of steaks go down. I've seen the food quality of chicken go down. Seafood, all of the qualities have went down. They are below standards, and they need to bring them back up to standards. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So, hey guys, if you really want to help me out, hit that subscribe button, hit that like and that thumbs up. I'll be doing some more stuff. I'll be doing some live streams here pretty often, kind of get you guys in key. So if you want to get back on here, I think I'm going to make Mondays my live stream Mondays, and we'll do it at 11 o'clock. And you guys can ask me some questions about recipes. You can ask me questions about products that you're buying. Tell me if there's a product out there that I don't know about that would be phenomenal. I'll be glad to try it out. Or, tell me about a recipe you have that I can try out. I'll try any recipe out. Um, you know, I just tried recently, what was it, last week? And I'm not a baker at all. I do not like to bake. I'm not a dessert person at all as far as baking's concerned. But I found this recipe and I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to try it, see if it works. If it don't work, it'll go on my flag list. And I have a list that I flag certain people on YouTube or on the internet that I've tried certain things from them and they have not been good. They look great in a photo. Everything looks beautiful in a photo until you stick it in your mouth and you're like, "Ah, I don't know if I want to do this." But anyway, so yeah, don't forget, hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you care, share. If not, that's fine too. I am the Music City Foodie. It's 27 minutes and 33 seconds. And I'm going to go. So, hey, I appreciate you guys hanging out. You guys have a good one. Peace. See you.